Hello and welcome back to the Gold Newsletter channel. Welcome back to the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. My name is Kai Hoffmann. I'm the JR Mining Guy over on X. And together with our good friend Brien Lundin, I'm your host of the Gold Newsletter channel. And I'm joined by Mani Alkhafaji here of First Majestic Silver. Mani, it's great to have you back on the program. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Kai. Happy New Year.
Well, you guys have been extremely busy last quarter pretty much, or last 2 quarters. We have lots to catch up on. I don't even know where to start. Maybe we'll start with the production. Let's start there. Q4 highlights. You just put out some results out as well. Give us the cliff notes, Mike.
Yeah. So look, Q4 was a good quarter for us. We ended the year on a good note. Overall, we met guidance, which is exciting. I think the bright spot continues to be Santa Elena. You know, this asset is just the gift that keeps on giving for us. We had a record year again, so 10.3 million silver equivalent ounces, and that again is a record year. San Dimas is finally turning the corner, so we're having quarter-over-quarter improvements. So again, we're pleased with Q4's production, with more room to improve, which is what we're focusing on for 2025. And lastly, La Encantada, we've had issues, the water issues that kind of been dragging the production there for the last 18 months. But Q4 was really the turning quarter. We're basically back at budgeted rates. So, Q4 production by itself was 40% higher than Q3. So it's, we're happy with the way we ended 2024.
Calendar year is also financial year, right? I have to ask. Because I want to ask you, so if you sum it up, what was the yearly production like? What did you come in at?
Yeah, so our annual production was 21.7 million, so just under 22 million silver equivalent ounces. About 8.5 million of that is silver, and the rest is gold and silver equivalency. We had a number of KPIs set out from exploration. We had a record exploration program. We ended up with just under 190 kilometers of drilling, which was quite excited across all the operations. We put out some updates earlier in the year, and we'll be putting some additional updates in the next couple of weeks, of mainly at San Dimas and Santa Elena. And it's been we started the year a little bit slow, but it's always nice when you end it on a good positive note.
Absolutely, yeah. No, do you have a bit of cost guidance for us as well for the last quarter? I know you haven't put that out, but just give us a bit of rough guidance.
We'll be putting out our Q4 and numbers on February 20th. But Q4, we've had a lot of good things go our way. Production improving, so your denominator is lower. The peso is working in our favor finally, which is nice. We've had a strong finish to the year.
Fantastic. Have you put out guidance for 2025 yet?
No, so we typically would have put it on as part of the production news release, which went out last week. But with the Gatos acquisition, we decided to hold off instead of just putting 2 different guidance. We are going to release it in around mid-February. So we'll be doing a consolidated one, obviously including Gatos.
So Gatos is the next topic we need to talk about. Obviously, you just closed that in the last week as well, that acquisition. Run us a bit again through the rationale of the deal, and what does the new First Majestic look like after it?
Yeah, so, this is a transformational deal. First Majestic, this is the largest transaction, and it brings a lot of meaningful benefits to us, to our shareholders. This is a true world-class district. We're not just buying the asset, we're buying the potential future production. It comes with 103,000 hectares, which is a significant land package, prolific part of Mexico. It's almost a brand new mine. It's only been in production for a couple of years, so significant cash flow. It sits in the bottom quartile on the cost curve. And it's really going to change the company. Our production goes from, I mentioned we produce around just under 22 million silver equivalent ounces, but we go from that to about 31 million silver equivalent ounces. Our purity goes back above 50%, which is a number that's key to us. That really puts us in the top leading among our peers. So again, it's a good position for First Majestic. With Gatos, we're going to have 3 world-class districts under one umbrella, and that's something unique. So you got Los Gatos, you got San Dimas, and you got Santa Elena. And we've proven what we can do with districts. Discoveries time over time that we've made at Santa Elena. We expect that to continue at Gatos, to get replicated at Gatos. So it's something that we're quite excited about. It's taken a lot of time. You mentioned, we announced in September and we closed last week, but the story kicked off, almost a year ago now. So we've had our eyes on Gatos for quite some time, and the process that was run by the banks was quite competitive. A lot of names in the mix. A lot of people were interested in it. So we're really happy and glad to add that to First Majestic and have the outcome that we did.
Now, just to focus in just a little more on Los Gatos, like what are the next steps on site now once we have it? You touched on exploration potential and others. Like, what are the next steps on site?
Our main focus right now is integration. Now, it's a new mine, it's in Mexico, so that makes things much easier. But nevertheless, there are still, integration pieces that need to come together. We are going to take our time. We've already had our integration team on site almost 2 months ago. So we've been learning, we've been absorbing, we've been planning, and now it's really execution, right? So like I said, it's nice to have a cash flow asset right away. We don't need investments, we don't need to change anything. So we are going to leave the operating side really intact, learn it, but we are going to have to roll out, for example, our corporate policies, our ERP system. So these are really the focus for the next couple of quarters and really utilize synergies. We're in Mexico, so we're going to take our time really optimizing those and share those plans with the market over the next couple of quarters.
When I spoke with Keith back in Frankfurt in mid-November roughly, we talked about like one reason for the acquisition was also to acquire the shareholder base of Gatos. Like you've been lacking a little bit on the institutional side. How is that transforming the company?
Yeah, so we pre-acquisition, we have 85,000 shareholders, most of which are retail. So it's a very different structure to Gatos. Gatos is almost the flip side, very heavily institutionally held. The founding shareholders of the Electrum Group, led by Tom Kaplan. Well, then combining this with First Majestic, now you have a unique structure. So now you're almost 50-50 institutions, 50% retail. Tom Kaplan himself, through the Electrum Group, will be our largest shareholder, owning just under 12%. And he's a big supporter of the company. He's been a big supporter of the transaction, and he is a silver bull. So just having him, Keith Neumeyer, in this company, just really, just an unbelievable force just driving this and really utilizing the vision of where silver and what this company is going to be doing.
Bit of a cheeky question, but you're not expecting an institutional investor rush to the door now or something, right?
We've picked up, we're already seeing some elevated volume. We are one of the most liquid stock in the market. Unbelievable volumes day after day. But just over the last couple of months, we've just been unbelievable volume. So, we are going to see the 13F forms coming up soon. So we'll see who's being added to the registry. But there's definitely been uptick, whether it's Tom talking or other people are really just seeing what this new vehicle is going to be. There's less names in the market now, right? So capital is going to have to flow, same capital is going to have to flow now to less people. So, First Majestic has always been the go-to name when it comes to silver, and this is just really expediting this and just putting it on a stair.
No, absolutely. You're one of the go-to names in the silver space anyway, and now that you're back to 50% silver, you should be you will be marketing that heavily, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a number that we track closely, and it is tough to stay above 50% or to have the majority in silver, with depleting assets and just silver is a bit challenging as well. At some point we had 90% of our revenue coming from silver. It's nice, but it's challenging. You do a budget at $25, and next thing you know, silver is at $17. Well, that's a big change to your bottom line or top line. So it's nice to have this mix right now. 50% we're comfortable with. So yeah.
Yeah, and you don't hedge or anything.
We don't hedge, no, fully exposed.
But you're full exposure to your own mint now.
Exactly.
So you're ramping up, volumes you're sending to your own mint as well. What does that look like? Run us a bit through that.
It's still in the build-up stage right now. So for 2024, we're probably going to be doing around 5% of our revenue through the mint. We're targeting about 10% for 2025. It's still, we're adding new SKUs, so we're still fine-tuning the product. We got coins now coming, new designs. People loving it. We're here in this conference. We got a booth set up. We brought 3 times the silver that we brought last year, and we basically gone through all of it in the first day. So it's a good sign. I don't know if that's investor sentiment changing finally, or call it what you call it. But we're obviously trying to maximize our sales from the mint, which has been pretty exciting.
So, Money, the mint is super interesting. Personally, I like it. Shiny stuff, always great. And, of course, it helps with the bottom line, increase profit margin. So, fantastic stuff. But something else I also like, and, most companies here are explorers. And you mentioned to me before hitting the record button here that you've got exploration updates planned. And you've drilled quite a bit as well. I saw that in your Q4 release. Run us a bit through the highlights of the exploration program, how many meters and things like that.
Yeah, look, First Majestic is blessed with having a significant land package. After this acquisition, we're going to have 350,000 hectares, and we do see a lot of values in the drill bit. So for 2024, we had a record, one of our highest production programs, definitely a record at San Dimas. Overall, we were targeting about 200 kilometers of drilling. We finished the year with just under that, about 190 kilometers of drilling. It's yielded some really exciting stuff. We put out an update on San Dimas earlier in the year. And Santa Elena, again, we talked about it's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's done the same thing with exploration. We've made a brand new discovery in July called the Navidad, very adjacent, very close to Ermitaño. And this is really going to be the future of this operation. So we're focusing the rest of the exploration program at that area, defining it, wrap a resource around it. We will be putting an update in the next couple of weeks as well on the 2024, and expect a pretty sizable exploration program as well for 2025.
Yeah, 200,000 meters. That's nothing to sneeze at. Very sizable. Do you also plan resource updates and things like that as well? And maybe leads to part B of the question, what's your reserve price calculation?
Yeah, so we'll be putting out our AIF, our annual information form, at the end of March. So that will include basically the all the drilling results, factoring depletion, and basically all the stuff that came with it. Our reserve price, I believe, is our resource price is about $24. I got to double check that. I'm not 100% sure about that. It's around $24 or so. And they'll be all included in the AIF.
Okay. Now I find that interesting. I was looking at the gold companies, and some of them are still at $1,500. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, we're a little bit more. Resource has to be a little bit lower. Reserve is a bit more, locked down. So we'll be including this in the assumptions that we put out in the AIF.
Fantastic. Mani, what has you most excited about the company right now?
It's tough not to get excited about Gatos. This is a brand new, it's going to change the shape of First Majestic. So it's nice to go back to our roots, focus on silver, back in Mexico, cash flowing, and really just focus on growing the business further.
And you said in a couple of weeks we'll get a bit more forward guidance for the year, from the combined entity.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be putting it out in around mid-February, and then on February 20th we'll be putting out our Q4 updates as well on the financial front. So be on the lookout for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, lots of good news flow coming out. Exploration update, guidance, financials, so lots happening. Mani, really appreciate you joining us here on the floor at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. Thanks so much for making the time.
Yeah, thanks, Kai. Great seeing you.
Yeah, likewise as well. Like everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in here to the Gold Newsletter. Hope you enjoyed this conversation with Mani. If you have, leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out tremendously. We do appreciate it, and we'll be back with lots more here from Vancouver. Thank you so much for tuning in.